This is my review of the Umarex Walther CP99. This is a pellet gun powered by CO2. Let's get started. Okay, so the material makeup of this gun is both metal parts and a durable, what feels to be a quality composite, plastic composite material. So the slide portion here is metal, and the bottom part of the frame is that composite material. Working our way from top down, the sights are fixed sights. When they come out of the box, they're going to be all blacked out. I actually put a white marking on the front blade to give it a little bit easier way of sighting. This is the safety. It's a slide safety, so there's a little button portion here. Just press that down, slide it to the left, and now it's in fire mode. To put it back into safety mode, you don't have to press that button. You can just push the slide forward, and now it's in safety mode. It does come with a tactical rail here for accessories. Now the barrel is not recessed, so anyone looking at the front of this gun can tell that it's not a real gun. But other than that, I believe this is a replica gun of an authentic Walther gun. I'm not sure of the model number. It might be Walther P99. So the look of this gun the look and the feel of this gun is quite real. The pricing on this gun ran me about $165, and you know, when I weighed it out against my favorite gun in my collection, which is my Gammo C15 bone collector pellet gun, you know, my Gammo was $85, so it's half the price of this one. And I feel that the Gammo has so many more advantages, benefits, and pluses than this one here. But let's move forward with the review. Okay, so you got the slide, you got the slide safety, fixed sights, tactical rail, non-recessed barrel. The trigger is plastic. But again, it's that high quality, durable composite material. The trigger pull on this, I'd say, is a heavy trigger pull on a scale of 1 through 5. 5 being an extremely heavy trigger pull and 1 being an extremely light trigger pull. This one I would rate at about a 4. So you really have to develop your trigger finger to use this one. It's also sort of a medium to a long trigger pull. And to me, that's a disadvantage to this gun. One of the things that I don't particularly like about this gun is the trigger pull. Alright, let's move around to this side of the gun. Some more CP99 Walther markings. And by the way, when this gun came out of the box, it had a lot of white text markings here, warnings, had a lot of white text along here, and I always find that somewhat distracting. And so what I did is I covered that with black decal material, giving it a little bit more realistic look to the gun. On this side of the gun, you've got this lever release. Okay, and what that does is it opens up the front portion of the slide. And this is where it reveals the metal rotary mag holding 8 pellets. And this is from Umarex. You can buy a 3-pack for like $7-8. And I think they're interchangeable amongst any of the Umarex guns that uses this magazine, this rotary magazine. Okay, there are, if you're familiar with it, there are teeth on one side. It's smooth on the other, so you want to face the teeth towards the back of the gun, set it in there, and close up the front portion of the slide. Now I've seen videos where guys will they'll actually close it up by putting their palm in front of the barrel and closing it up. And I understand that the safety is on, your finger is off the trigger until you're on the target. Those are just general rules, right? But still, for me, I don't know, I feel it's a little bit risky in placing your palm at point blank range, even though it's a pellet gun. If for somehow, some way that gun fires off by accident and your palm is in the way, it's gonna be painful and it's gonna cause some damage. So what I do when I'm closing it up is I wrap my ring finger and pinky just underneath the barrel, keeping it out of harm's way. the front of the gun, you might notice that there's a little indentation on the front here on both sides. Okay, so when I close up the gun, got my pinky and my ring finger below the barrel. I'm pinching with the rest of my fingers on those indentation marks here, and I close it up. If you're familiar with this magazine also, because it's made out of metal, it's quite heavy, and if your gun is tilted and you open up that front, chances are that magazine is going to roll out. So when you do open it up, make sure the gun is upright. Now you can either just open it like that, or you can hold the front of the barrel and open it like that. Okay. It is a single action and double action gun. It is a non-blowback. So the single action is done by racking back the back portion of the slide. There's some grip texture here on both sides, and so you can either hold the gun like this and pull back to cock it, and then that's in single action mode and you're ready to fire. And of course in single action mode the trigger pull is a lot more lighter, but pulling this back is not easy. I'll say it takes, you really got to get a good grip of that. To decock it, there's two ways to decock it. There's a decocking button here which you can press in, but you really got to press it hard in order for it to decock the gun. I find that it's just easier for me to decock it by pulling back that back portion of the slide all the way, pressing the trigger in all the way, and releasing, and that decocks it just the same. Okay, so in single action mode you can either rack the slide holding it like this, or some people will pinch these grip markings here, the back of the gun, and pull it like that. But I'll tell you again, this CP99, it's got a heavy trigger pull and it's not easy racking this slide back. Or you can just use it in double action mode, which is to pull the trigger, but it is a heavy trigger pull. So those are a lot of disadvantages to me, you know, the amount of effort needed to pull this back in single action mode, and the trigger pull being heavy and long in double action mode. But the real star of this gun is the CO2 magazine. Okay, so there are two release, I guess for ambidextrous, two releases. You can either release it from this side or this side if you're left-handed or right-handed. Me, I just pinch both sides and I pull it down. Now this is not spring-loaded. It simply releases it, and through gravity it'll drop down about an inch. The rest of the way you have to pull out. So this design is a very convenient design when you deplete your CO2 cartridge and you want to change it out, but you don't want to have to mess with those thumb screws. So you can actually buy an extra CO2 magazine, and these are roughly $45. Of course, one comes with the gun, and this one happens to already be pierced. So I'm going to show you how to load it on my extra magazine. Okay, so, and some of you may be familiar with this. So you put your Pel gun oil, as usual, on the top of the cartridge, load it in, and this gold ring here, this screw, you're going to go ahead and tighten it. I'm sorry, let me reverse that, let me back off. Okay. First thing to do is to take the base of the magazine and you're going to rotate it 3/4 turn, right? And there are arrow markings here to tell you which way to open and which one to close. Okay? So you're going to open that up. Then you're going to insert the CO2 in there. Then you're going to screw this gold ring all the way until it touches the base of the CO2 cartridge, and then you're going to nice and tight. Okay? Not so much to pierce it, but just to make sure that it's prepared for piercing. The rest of the way you're going to go ahead and rotate this back into position, and that will do an instant piercing. And what's good about this design is that there's less chance of losing CO2 gas when you're fussing with that thumb screw as you're piercing. This one is a one action, 3/4 turn, and it pierces the CO2. It also prepares another CO2 for you when your first CO2 depletes. So I can have this one pre-pierced, ready to go, and once the original CO2 depletes, I can pop it out and insert the spare mag. Okay, so this gun, you know, adding to the price, the gun alone was $165. I got an extra magazine for $45, so that already puts it over $200. And then I got extra 3-pack of the rotary mags, and that was about maybe $7. So this gun in all was over $200. And when you're looking at a heavy trigger pull, a long trigger pull, a lot of effort to rack this slide back, and a low velocity of 360 feet per second, and it only holds a rotary mag with 8 rounds in it. You know, when you compare that with the Gamma C15 bone collector, which has a 450 feet per second velocity, has a very light trigger pull, a very short trigger pull. It's the blowback action, so it cocks that hammer back for you once the first shot is away. You know, and at $85, the Gamma bone collector, in my opinion, is a much more better value than this one here. But this one is, you know, said to be manufactured in Germany. It does use a lot, you know, the construction. It's a replica gun, and I think all of those things factor into the cost of a gun. So going back to the magazine release. Okay, so it's not spring-loaded. You have to pull it out the rest of the way. When you're reinserting it, you can push it with your finger, but sometimes it doesn't really click in. Okay, you have to push it really hard and listen for that click. There you go. And then you'll see these two release buttons go back into place. So it is a durable plastic. It's made out of plastic here, but it's durable, and it's got a metal part here. I don't think there's any problem with you actually hammering it in with your palm. And it'll save you time. Okay, so that is my review. The again, the weight on this is approximately 1.6 pounds. The length of this gun is approximately 7 inches. The height of this gun is approximately 5 3/4 inches. Velocity is 360. It's a good gun. I just wish they could come down in the price a little bit more. Maybe to take it under $100 would be a lot more competitive with the other guns out there. But a nice gun. It's got some really nice features, especially that release magazine, quick replacement of the CO2. So again, this is the Umarex CP99.